Hi everybody, my name's Doug Wilson. This is Yellow Hawk Customs Outdoors, the YouTube channel. This video has been a long time coming. I don't always do what I should do, right? I am a fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy, right? I do what hits me, you know what I mean? So I've been getting requests from guys to show all of the knife designs that I have currently on the market right now. Okay, I have a few knife designs that are out of production that aren't being made anymore. That is not these. Okay, this is going to be the knives that I have in production right now. Okay, so if you guys stay tuned, we're going to take a look at. Let me get the other two down. All of these knives right here. Let me get them down. It's not a lot. It's 5, 6 knives, maybe 7. Okay, we're going to take a look at all of them briefly. I don't want the video going, you know, 2 hours long. We're going to briefly take a look at all of them. Okay, I'll show them to you real quick. These are the knives that are going to be featured in this video. Just going to take a look at them here. I'll name them as the video progresses. Okay, not these two. Just the ones that are sitting on the red cutting board. Okay, all right, these are all the knives that I currently have in production. Okay, so if you guys stay tuned, I'm going to talk about each of these knives, not really in depth. I'm going to give you an overall review, not review, but an overall explanation of it, so that you have a good idea of what we have out on the market in production now. Stay tuned. Now, all of these designs that you're going to see are built by custom knife makers. None of these are production knives. Okay, they're not Tops, they're not Ontario, they're not Cold Steels. Okay, they're all production knives. They're all stamped out, right? An edge put on them, handles put on them, and then sent to the stores. And they make thousands and thousands of them at a time. Okay, you know, large runs of production knives. That's not what these are. These are, in the case of all but one, fully custom knives. Okay? Now, the reason I do that is because I believe in high quality at a decent price. Okay? High quality usually means high price. Okay? These knives are not that high priced. Most of my life has been spent in the field, right? I served on a Special Forces A team in the Army, so, you know, I like to think that I have some experience with weapons, especially knives. Knives are my thing, right? So I designed knives that hit all the different categories of what you might need in a knife, okay? So there's the backcountry. All right, and you could tell by the design, right, that it is a functional knife in the field. It even has a choke-up choil, which turns this, just want to get it right, 6 1/4 inch blade, 6 1/4 inch blade, okay, into exactly that. A 6 1/4 inch blade that you have a lot of I don't know if I'm using the right word, torque, right? You have a lot of strength, right, in that push, right? Every ounce of strength that's in your hand is as close to that cutting surface as you can get in a knife that's 6¼ inches long, okay? Back here, if you want to use this, it's still very comfortable. You can use it for push cuts, but I like to use that choke-up choil for fine work, okay? It works very well, and it gives you a lot of control in the knife doing whatever you need to do. Feather sticks, carving, whatever, okay? And then, you know, the choke back, right? Choke back. You put your pinky in the choke back choil right here, right? And it's a great chopper. This thing chops like nobody's business. It chops as well as any 6¼ inch blade out there, okay? Is it going to chop as well as a knife that's heavier and bigger than this? Probably not. It don't have the weight behind it, okay? But it is a great chopper. It's middle of the road for a knife that does everything that I need it to do, okay? Including finer tasks with that choke-up choil, okay? Very comfortable. I've never had any complaints. There's, I don't know, there's probably a couple hundred of these out there that guys have had made by Mike Wallace at Wallace Edge Tools, okay? I would imagine, maybe it's less than that, I don't know, okay? I know I built a lot of sheaths for these knives. So basically how it works is Mike Wallace builds the knife for you, he sends it to me, and I build the sheath. So it's a knife and sheath system that you're buying, okay? It's kind of like the best of both worlds. You get a great knife and a great sheath that does whatever you want it to do, okay? I'm going to go through each knife. I'm going to go from the biggest to the smallest, okay? Here's the first knife. This is the Delta Whiskey Backcountry. I mean, I think I was given my first knife by my dad at the age of like 7 or 8. Maybe earlier than that. I can remember sitting at my kitchen table when I was a kid, and my father was on the phone. Like, here's the table, right? I'm sitting here, my father's at the other end of the table, right? He's talking on the phone, and I'm whittling with a pocket knife that he gave me, okay? I had some woodworking tools and a pocket knife, so I'm whittling with the pocket knife, and I slipped, right? And I gotta remember where I cut myself. It's one of these fingers. I think it was this finger. I used to have a scar there. Oh, no, I don't see it. I don't see the scar anymore. Anyway, the knife, right? The tip of the knife went through my finger, over the bone, and out the other side, okay? So I didn't kind of like slice my skin off. It just went through, okay? And I pulled it out real quick, and I hit it, right? And my father looks over, and I'm going like this, right? He goes, "What did you do?" I said, "I cut myself, Dad." God damn it. Right? So he says, "Let me see it." Off to the hospital we go, and stitches, right? So we come back from the hospital. Now, my father, I'm not going to say he was a hard ass, but he was a stoic man, okay? The kind of guy that did what he said and said what he did. You know what I mean? It's just, if he told you he was going to do something, he did it, right? Come hell or high water, unless like somebody dies or something, then he can't do it or whatever, right? So the most stoic man I've ever met in my life. I have a lot of respect and love for my dad. He's gone now, passed away a few years ago. But I'm working with the knife again, right? And he was stoic, right? All right, boy, don't cut yourself anymore, right? I'm working with it, slice, right? And here's the scar for that one right there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that scar right there. Opened it up, you know, like a can opener. And I'm sitting there holding, he's on the phone again, right? This is immediately after coming back from the hospital, right? We were at the hospital 4 or 5 hours, come home, and I'm right back at it, right? You did it again, didn't you, Doug? Let me see it. Off to the hospital again, right? And he's schooling me on the way to the hospital about child abuse, right? Don't say this, don't say this, don't say It was funny. He thought he was going to get in trouble for child abuse, right? Anyway, it was my fault, right? I owned up to it. I own up to everything now. You know what I mean? I got that from my dad. If you owe, you pay, right? So that's just the way it is. So I got a lot of experience with knives, right? So from that point on, knives all the time. Love them, collect them, use them in the field, use them in special forces, use them in daily life, everything. I just love knives, okay? So, the Delta Whiskey Backcountry wasn't the first knife I designed, but it was, this is like the flagship knife now, okay? CPM 3V, G10 scales, nice, comfortable Coke bottle style handle. So I like very comfortable handles, okay? Very comfortable handles. Because I am used to working with a knife in the field for half hour, hour at a time, okay? And I don't want, if I'm building a bow drill set, I don't want that knife to feel like a burden in my hand. So I design the handles really comfortably, okay? As opposed to, now this is, I'm not knocking anyone, okay? This is just a broomstick style handle, okay? This is an LT Wright. A lot of guys like this handle. It's comfortable. I don't think it's as comfortable as a Coke bottle, though. But they both have different uses, okay? So this has got an extremely contoured, form-fitting handle to the hand, okay? Your pinky fits in the pinky choil. Your forefinger fits in the finger guard area or forefinger choil, right? And it also has a choke-up choil for finer tasks. This is one of those knives that'll do small and large tasks, okay? This is my answer to a full-on survival knife, okay? There it is. It's got blade heft, belly forward, really good chopper for its size and weight, 3/16 of an inch thick, CPM 3V. It's got a nice, comfortable thumb ramp for thumb pushes if you want, okay? The other thing is when I do thumb pushes, right, and I want to get a lot of leverage on a stick or whatever, I like my whole thumb to be in contact, the whole surface of my thumb to be in contact with the spine of that knife. And this thumb ramp does that, okay? It allows you to get way up there, right, on the blade, rather than way back here, right? This is how it's supposed to be done. With this knife, okay? Gives you a lot of leverage, right? A lot of strength, a lot of agility, a lot of precision, okay? If you want to do without the thumb push, just wrap your finger around, and you still got a lot of good leverage. It all depends on personal preference. I tend to like to wrap my thumb around the handle that way, okay? So, this thumb jimping here is rounded on the sides, okay? It's very comfortable, doesn't hurt your hand. Now, I'll be honest, if you work for an hour and a half with this knife, doing nothing but feather sticks, it may irritate you a little bit. Any knife will, okay? Any knife will. So, basically, this knife is designed for all the tasks that I would do in a wilderness situation. You're out there for a month if you have to be, right? You're building shelters, you're doing whatever you have to do. Even has a pyro plug in the handle, right? This is a bow drill divot. They work very well, okay? And one thing you'll learn about me, this company, if it doesn't work and work well, I won't incorporate it into a design. I just won't do it, okay? It's got to work and work well. Not just, it's kind of iffy, right? I don't do iffy. It's got to work and work well. This does, okay? Low friction, works very well as a bearing block, okay? Now, I'm not going to get into the controversy of whether you should use a knife as a bearing block and blah, blah, blah. I use this knife as a bearing block, and I get fire all the time with it, okay? I use it without the sheath on it. I don't recommend that, though. If you're not comfortable with doing something like that, you keep the sheath on it, okay? Oh, no. Wrong sheath. Anyway, the sheath for this one is too big, okay, to hold in your hand, okay? It's a fairly wide knife, so it's going to be a fairly wide sheath. So I use the knife without the sheath on it. That's just me, okay? But, you know, pass-through compression pins, really strong, way to affix scales to a handle, just great. White liners, like I said, G10. This happens to be a saber grind who also do it in a full flat for you as well. Now, I always change the edges of my knife when I get them, okay? I don't like that traditional V edge, okay? I like what I call a low-shouldered convex, okay? Now, this is a convex, all right? That's a convex grind, okay? It goes into a point, right? This is the edge of the edge right there, right? That is convex. This is a V grind. That's what most of your knives come with, production or custom, doesn't matter. It's an all-purpose edge. That's what most knife makers will put on a knife. Okay, I change it to a low-shouldered, just a little bit, okay, convex grind. It's not fully convexed. It's got low shoulders on it, okay, which gives me the best of both worlds. Gives me great slicing with a lot of strength in that edge to resist chipping and whatnot. This is a feather sticking monster, okay? It's a big knife that feather sticks well, and that's one of my tests for ability to cut, okay? So there's the Delta Whiskey backcountry, okay? Give you a good look at it again, all right? 90-degree spine, CPM 3V. It's got a pommel on the back, right, for whatever, okay, self-defense, whatever. Crushing nuts, right? Choke up choil gives you a lot of dexterity and precision with that blade. It really does a great job if you're looking for a big survival knife type thing, okay? Hefty blade, which is what you're going to need for a full-on survival knife, okay? If your full-on survival knife has a skinny blade and really, no, you could do better, all right? Okay, so that's the Delta Whiskey backcountry. Okay, so let's move on to the Delta Whiskey Infinity. Okay, Delta Whiskey is, you know, military nomenclature for Doug Wilson. Delta Whiskey, right? So it just identifies the blade and who designed it, okay? Delta Whiskey Infinity, or you can just shorten it and call the Infinity, right? Now I named it the Infinity because this is an EDC field knife that you can wear every day in the field, okay? Take a look at it. The first run, and that's what this one's from, was 01 Tool Steel, okay? They all sold out. They're all gone, okay? It does have a belly. I like bellies, okay? I don't know. I can't even explain why I like bellies, but they are great slicers. And I like, when I do like a feather stick, and I harp on feather sticking because that really is a good test of how well your knife cuts and slices. It really is. In my opinion, it's one of the best, okay? You can do the paper thing, right? But for practical use, feather sticking is the way to go if you want to test your knife and see how well it slices and cuts, okay? If it doesn't do feather sticks well, you may have some problems in the field with your knife, okay? I did a video on it just a few weeks ago. Today is what? April, May 9th or something. I did 2019, May 9th, 2019. About a week ago, I did a video of me feather sticking with several different knives. Some of them did great, some of them didn't do so great. And, you know, there was a couple of them that are really expensive knives that didn't perform well at all, okay? Because they don't have the right edge, okay? All right, so, and the thickness of the steel has a lot to do with that too. I tend to make my knives, I design them with thinner steel for the given size of the knife, thinner, right? Usually if somebody's designing a knife this big, right, with a 6 and, no, it's not 6, 5.5 inch blade, okay, they usually go for 1/4 inch thick steel, or maybe a little less. This is 5/32, okay, 5/32. It's a little bigger than 1/8 inch, little thicker than 1/8 inch. All right, plenty of steel for a knife like this, plenty. You can see what LT Wright does. He uses 1/8 inch, right, on his medium-sized knives. This is a bigger knife, okay, so I went with 5/32 to be safe, okay. I could have gone with 1/8 inch on this one, but it might be a little thin, you know what I mean, in some circumstances, some instances. So there it is, all right. Delta Whiskey Infinity, choke up choil again, gives you incredible precision with that blade, okay. The closer you can get your hand to the actual cutting surface, the better off you're going to be as far as less fatigue, okay. And you got to have the right handle geometry, okay. This is a very comfortable handle, very comfortable as it can be, okay. Also has a pyro plug in the handle. If you don't want one, you don't have to have one. The CPM 3V version, I'm going to take orders, and guys are going to give me a deposit, right, $150 deposit. The knives will probably be about $300 or so. Could be a little bit more, okay, in CPM 3V. So you'll have your choice of scales, I think, liners, and whether you want a pyro plug or not, okay. To me, that's a no-brainer. If you're in a situation where you need to build a bow drill set and you really don't have a lot of time or whatever, this cuts out a whole step of finding a piece of hardwood, drilling a divot in it, all that kind of stuff, right? It's already there, and it works well. I've done it, okay? Just take my word for it. It works, okay? If you want to, you can make it a little deeper yourself, okay? This is deep enough for me. Sometimes I will make that a little deeper. It depends, okay? So, micarta scales, right? Weather resistant, just a no-brainer for a knife handle, right? This one has OD green liners and tan micarta, okay? This is a traditional Scandi grind, okay, on this knife, right? Because it's not only an effective woods knife, it's also a woodworker, okay? So it does slice very well. This is a feather sticking monster as well, okay? Great test for how your knife actually cuts and slices, okay? Look at that handle. Very comfortable handle. Slight thumb ramp, right? Just slight on this one. It's a smaller knife, okay? Slight thumb ramp. Gets the surface of your thumb, the whole surface of your thumb on that spine. And right here, it's rounded. The spine is rounded a little for less fatigue, okay? For when you're choking up, okay? You're choking up, less fatigue, okay? Part of your handle, we try to bring the handles up as far as we can, right? But then we round that spine too, so that when you're choking up, it's comfortable, right? It's comfortable. No knife is perfect, guys. If you're working with the knife for an hour, it may start to bite a little bit, okay? But for normal use, very comfortable, rounded spine, okay? And then the rest of it is 90 degrees for striking or scraping bark or whatever, right? I love this knife. Precise belly, you know, you get a lot of precision, especially in feather sticking. You can use that whole belly and go straight down, get some really good feathers with this, okay? So that's the Delta Whiskey Infinity. Made by LT Wright, okay? He builds the knife. Well, I order these in a run of knives. 40, 50, 60, 70, however many I want. He makes them, sends them all to me, every one of them, all 50 knives, right? And then I build your sheath one at a time according to when you ordered the knife. If you were first ordering the knife, then your sheath gets made first, okay? Because I incorporate the sheath making into my already custom schedule, right? I'm one guy, right? You're going to have to wait a little bit for a custom knife and sheath system. It's just, that's the nature of the beast. It's going to be that way with anyone. And I don't know anyone out there who does that. Knife and sheath system, okay? A great knife and a great sheath in one system. I don't know anybody who does it. Miller Brothers does that, okay? Their prices are way up there too, but you're going to pay for good quality. You're going to pay, and I will only build great quality. I will not take shortcuts. Even if a guy wants me to, I usually say, I'd rather not do that, because what happens is I take that shortcut, someone else sees it and says, Doug made that sheath? No, he would never do something like that. You see what I mean? My name goes on every one of these sheath systems. So that's important to me. I have a pretty good reputation, right? Being the best, high quality, toughest, most functional sheath systems on the market. Okay? If you come to me, you're going to get what you want. You're going to get what you need and works well. All right? So, that was the Delta Whiskey Infinity. Here's the sheath that I built for it. This is my personal sheath, okay? Now, I took the tabby dangler off. Where's the dangler portion? Here it is. Here's the dangler portion. I just took it off. Sometimes you can fold them back like that. But in this situation, I was attaching it to a pack, okay? With our combat lock here. Nice clips. These are nice clips, right? Very nice clips. So I like to use these, but it's got a sharpening plate on the back. This is a diamond sharpening plate. The more you use it, the finer it gets and the better off you are, okay? It'll get to a certain point where it'll be kind of like a honer, you know? Then it also has a striker for the ferro rod, because if I can help it, I don't like using the spine of my knife to strike a ferro rod. That does a couple of things. You can, okay? Now just think about this. You're throwing sparks that are 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, right? If you do a lot of that with your spine, you could very well change the temper of this knife, okay? So be careful. A lot of guys don't think about that stuff. I do, okay? Plus it dulls the edge too, where you might need your spine for other things. So I try to use a dedicated striker for a ferro rod. And I try to put them on every one of my sheaths, my personal sheaths. If you want one, I'll put them on yours too. But you got to tell me what you want. You really do. I can't read minds, all right? So there's that. Okay, so we're going to move on to a couple more of the Mike Wallace offerings. He builds the backcountry for me, right? This is mostly my design, but when you work with a custom knife maker, it becomes a collaboration. because that knife maker infuses his spirit into the design as well. This knife right here is not what I designed. Not exactly, okay? Because he put his spirit into it too. He put a lot of handle work into it that I didn't have in the original design, okay? And it came out great, right? So more of a collaboration than fully my design. Like I said, when you work with a custom knife maker, it becomes a collaboration. It really does. No matter what you think, it becomes a collaboration, okay? So the Delta Whiskey Backcountry CPM 3V. It's a super steel, right? This knife is made with the highest quality steel that I would prefer to have a knife built out of. Some steels are way too expensive for what you get, in my opinion, okay? CPM 3V is one of those super steels that is well priced and badass, okay? It's a great steel. Holds an edge real well. It's not too terribly difficult if you use diamonds, right? Diamonds cut steel. That's my mantra, okay? If you're trying to sharpen a super steel knife with a stone, you're going to be there a while. Diamonds, guys. Go for diamonds. You may not agree with me. That's okay. You don't have to agree with me. So we got two more here. This is the LMF Light Multifunction. This is based on the Raymir's Woodlore, okay, with newer materials and stronger steel, okay? Let's put it that way. Better steel. This is CPM 3V, right? This is a high saber grind, okay? Gives you a really good slicing edge depending what edge you put on it. I have a low shoulder convex on this one. 90-degree spine, comfortable. This is like a two-dimensional Coke bottle. It's flat on the sides, rounded edges, okay? That makes it a little lighter, okay? Instead of it being a full Coke bottle with full handles like the, come on now. Okay, like the Infinity. See how it bulges out on the sides there? Well, we save a lot of weight doing that in these knives here, the CPM 3V, because it's a light steel to begin with, okay? It's stronger but lighter, right? Holds a better edge but lighter, okay? So there's the LMF, just a basic field knife, okay, with a comfortable handle. And then the BMF, okay, basic multifunction. Now I use this knife a lot. This is CPM 3V, right? It's got that nice low profile belly on it, right? Got that sweep, goes down to the point, and then like a modified drop point type spear point blade. This aids well in like bow drill divots and, you know, gouging out wood and stuff like that. It's a very strong knife, very strong. And then it's got that traditional French trapper look to it, okay? High saber grind, put the right edge on it, great slicer, 3/16 inch thick. This one is 5/32, okay? Your knives do not need to be thick, guys. They don't need to be 1/4 inch thick. That is just way overkill that you just don't need, and it can be a hindrance. It can be a liability to have too thick a knife. You won't get the right edge with it. You have to fight to get a great edge on a really thick knife, okay? So there's that, CPM 3V. This one has a pyro plug, right? This is his textured jig pattern handle. Very comfortable, but grippy too, right? Grippy. G10, okay? He's got all different types of handle scales, colors, right? Okay? So that's these two knives built by Mike Wallace at Wallace Edged Tools. He builds the knives, right? Or the knife. You pick either one or both. These were designed to be as a set, right? But you can get just the LMF or just the BMF. He's got other designs too, his Spear 1, Spear 2, his Field Series, his Outdoor Series. Great knife builder. He is an excellent knife builder. A lot of military guys like to go to Mike because he builds strong, durable, functional blades. Okay, so that's Mike Wallace. Okay, the next knife in the Yellow Hawk Customs lineup is the Delta Whiskey Viper. Okay, now this is a really stylish, cool, futuristic looking blade. Okay, if you want the wow factor, this is the knife. Okay, this is the knife. Now these are built by Carson Falk at Hornet Custom Knives. However, this summer, and it's 2019 now, May 2019, this summer, he's telling me he's going to do a 10 knife run of these. He's going to build them, same shape and all. He's picking the scales and all. And then that'll be it. He won't be making this knife anymore. He's going to college. He's leaving. Boom, gone. Not making knives, okay? Or not making them as much. So I'm going to have to pass this design off to another maker, okay? I haven't decided who yet. If you're a maker and you want to pick up this design for me, let me know, okay? The Delta Whiskey Viper. This is, right now, my favorite field knife, okay? It runs a close second to the Farnhawk and the Infinity, okay? I use them all, okay? It depends on the situation. But this one is my favorite, okay? It slices like nobody's business. It has a nice thin edge, right? Now this is a high saber grind, but it's thinned out at the base, okay? I don't mind that because I don't beat the shit out of my knives. Well, I don't beat the shit out of this knife, okay? It's not big enough. You're not going to be doing any hards. This is a carving knife, a big carving knife, okay? Medium-sized carving knife, okay? 5/32 inch thick, right? Not quite 3/16, not quite 1/4 inch, 5/32. I think I'm saying that right, 5/32. If I'm not, I'm sure somebody will correct me. A lot of armchair warriors out there. Anyway, so that was a joke. Delta Whiskey Viper. My particular Viper has carbon fiber scales, white liners. I kind of made it to kind of match the backcountry, right? Black and white, okay? White liners. Now, here's what's different about this knife, okay? This is a knife that you can have in your hand for an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time and not develop a lot of fatigue. You know what I mean? We brought the handle up further than most other knife handles. You don't see knives like this often, okay? Where we bring the handle scales up so it'll fill up the webbing of your hand. This is where you're going to hurt, right here. And usually this part is on the spine when you're getting a lot of leverage on the knife, okay? With this knife, you could choke way up and you're still on the handle. So it fills up your hand even though you're choking up. Gives you great control. The most comfortable control and precision with that blade. That's my favorite knife. That's why it's my favorite knife. And that little divot right there just makes it so comfortable. It's not a hump there, right? It indents, your webbing goes down in there, fills it up, and you're good to go, man. That is a very comfortable knife. Like I said, because your whole hand, the whole webbing of your hand here is still on the handle because we drag it out. We bring it up into the blade a little bit. Okay, why not? Adds a fraction of an ounce to the weight of the knife. Carbon fiber's light anyway, right? But great knife. 01 tool steel. Okay, this is 01 tool steel. it really doesn't rust as much as you think it would. Not like 1095 does. In my opinion, 1095 rusts really quick, right? As opposed to 01. And this one, 90-degree spine, it will throw sparks off a rock if you need it to. Just, I'll tell you, I love this knife. Really comfortable. It's got that arced contour to it that gives you more leverage when you're working. It's just I'll tell you, they do a great job. I hope the next maker that makes this does a great job too, right? It's got thumb scallops in there, right? For side, Scandinavian grips and all that kind of stuff, right? Real nice. Here's Hornet Custom Knives. I tell you, get one now, right? Get your name on the list for one of these 10 that he's going to build this summer, because he's not going to be building them anymore, and I have no idea how the next guy's going to do on it. If he doesn't build it to my standards, he won't be building it long, right? So, Carson did a great job on this. Carson and Hunter Pates, they're the guys in Hornet Custom Knives, right? Delta Whiskey Viper, okay? And you guys named this. You guys did. I put it out on Facebook. Hey, what are we going to call this knife, right? And I got 5 or 6 Vipers, right? So that's what we call it, the Viper. Okay, last but not least, I want to say this real quick. When it comes to cost, quality and customness, it's going to cost you some money. It is. This is not a Walmart style blade. This is not a production blade. I'm pretty sure that Sam sells these for $350. Okay, this is a fully hand forged custom blade. Okay, pretty $300 to $350, something like that. Depends on what you get on it. Okay, I think this one was $300. I think. Okay, this is a lightweight. I give you Hunter. I think he sells this for $300, something like. They're all about $300, except for Mike Wallace's knives. Mike Wallace's knives are higher quality steel. This one's like $400, about $400, $300. Custom blades, and you're gonna wait a little while for them. Okay. The CPM 3V version of the Infinity is going to be about 300-ish. Okay. But let's get to the Farnhawk. Okay. 80 CRV2, great steel, love it. Hand forged. These are hardwood walnut burl scales. You can have what you want. You can get what you want. This is what I chose. Okay. No liners. I wanted it really light and nimble. Okay. This is my design for an everyday carry. You can even carry this in the city or whatever. I built you a small sheath for it, right? It's got a full-sized handle that fits the hand well, right? Got that full-size Coke bottle handle. Very comfortable. No pommel in the back. You really don't need it on this knife. It's not a huge knife. It's, like I said, 5.5 ounces or something. Really lightweight, easy to carry, easy to conceal, that type of thing. Okay, if you want something smaller than this, I am sure that Sam will scale it down for you if you want. He'll do that, right? He'll take a 1/2 inch off the blade and a 1/2 inch off the handle if you want, or an inch off the handle, 1/2 inch off the blade, whatever. Okay, so that you can make a necker out of it or whatever. Okay. Now the last knife that I want to get into, like I said, the Farnhawk, I use this one a lot. Okay. I carry this one around town a lot. Here's the Sheath. Really no frills. It's got a diamond sharpener on the back, a plate. It's got another diamond sharpener on the front that has 2 different grits. Okay. This is just so I can show it to people. right? This is what we have to offer type thing, right? I can also put a fine diamond rod on the side or whatever. I made the sheath like this to cut weight down because I wanted it really, really, really light, okay? So I just slap a clip on there. I also have a tabby dangler attachment that can go on it if I want to wear it as a dangler, okay? Right? Very, 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 very nice knife. Love it. One of my favorite designs, okay? Okay, so the next one is a necker. For you guys who like small knives, this is the Lil Hawk. L-I-L Hawk. Lil Hawk. It's built by Brian Sells at English Mountain Knives. English Mountain Knives. He's made quite a few of these over the last few months. Okay? I've noticed, though, I have noticed that the blades have gotten bigger, okay, by 10% or so. I'd really like to see the blades a little smaller, like this one, okay, so it can remain in that small necker category, but still with a full-sized handle, right? But I don't know why the blades are getting a little bigger for some reason. But Brian, if you're watching this, I would really like to see the blades smaller, like this one, right? But the customer has the final say. So if you guys want the bigger blade, by all means. I just like the smaller one, smaller blade, because it is a necker. I don't want it too heavy, right? Okay. These are, can't remember the steel on this one, 1070, 1065, high carbon steel, right? Doesn't rust too easily, holds a great edge. You know, these guys know what they're doing. These guys know what they're doing, okay? Pommel on the back, got a lanyard hole through the pommel. These are elder burl scales. Green elder burl scales. That's what this is. With mosaic pins. He does, and white liners. He does an outstanding job, even though he's a fairly new knife maker. Because he treats her spot on, as far as I'm concerned. Sharpens up well, stays sharp, haven't any problems. I've used this a lot. This is my most used knife. I have it on me all the time, right? Well, most of the time, as a necker, okay? It can also be converted to a belt carry, right? Or a pocket carry, right? You let me know what you want, or you can have all three. I'll build it to accept all three carries, right? So there's the extent of the knives offered by my designs out there being produced right now. If you're interested in something, like I said, these are not budget knives. I will not do cheap. I don't like doing cheap. Guys deserve better in the field. To me, the field environment can get really hard, really quick. Murphy's Law will smack you in the face every time out there. Okay? So, and I've seen it. I've seen things go real bad real quick. So, high quality gear is what I am all about. If you don't want to spend the money, right, for something really nice, a knife and sheath system by Yellow Hawk Customs, you know, custom knife maker. I build the sheath system for it, right? I built two of them for this, right? This has got a light, tactical light on it. Tabby dangler, tech lock. Could have a combat lock on it, whatever that is. I don't know what it is with it. What is that? Could have a combat lock on it, you know, whatever. Okay? So, and you have to wait a little bit for it, but not as long as some custom knife makers. Some custom knife makers are out there 2-3 years wait for one of their knives. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Yellowhawk Customs Outdoors. Combat and wilderness grade custom knife and sheath systems. We've got the badass gear for the badass outdoorsman. Yellowhawk.